Hello everyone, Brian Hoops here, Midwest Market Solutions with our latest internet video series. It is March the 16th. It's Wednesday evening. Thanks for joining us here, everybody. We appreciate you listening and hope we can help you out with our latest internet video series here. We're going to talk about a very simple marketing plan, and we've talked in some of our seminars that we've done, we've talked about this marketing plan and how it can be implemented. And it's probably the most easiest plan devised. We've been doing this for 20 years, and I know some of these can get fairly complicated, but this one you can do yourself. It's very simple, very easy to use, and I'm going to show you what it's all about. And as we get started here, remember that what we talk about tonight, we can't guarantee that this information is accurate or complete and should not be relied upon as such. It's a good faith judgment at a specific time, and it's subject to change without notice. There's no guarantee that what we talk about or the advice we give will result in profitable trades. Past performance is not indicative of future results. And so if you have any questions on anything, please contact us, and we want to make this as enjoyable, fun as possible, and educational as possible. So we're trying to give you our best information, and if you have questions, please just reach out to any of our 7 offices around the Midwest and visit with us. Here is a corn chart, thanks to more research, MRCI, for allowing us to use this. What we have here is a lot of lines, but it all represents price. And the pink line, as you see here, is a 30-year. So this is a 30-year seasonal. And what seasonal means is basically historically. What has the market done on average over the last 30 years? And that's represented the pink line. And we go through here each month. What is corn done in the month of March and April? And as we get into July and August, what happens to price? The black line is the 15-year average. And what that means is what's happened over the last 15 years as a historical trend. And the red line is the last 5 years. And so it gives us a little bit different perspective from different time frames. The markets can kind of change. They have their own mentality. They have their own feel. Things can change over time, but a historical pattern, a lot of times history does repeat itself. You'll see people or hear people talk about different analog years, hoping to find one that would repeat itself in a similar year. This time we're talking about historicals, and we're just going to talk about what's happened over time in the last 5, 10, and 15 years. And so let's look at what's transpired for this corn market in that time frame. Now, what we want to focus on is not just what 1 year or what pattern here. Let's look at the whole thing as a picture. One thing we can almost see as being very similar in all of these 3 different patterns, 5, 15, and 30, is once we get into September and the growing season ends effectively, we go down pretty sharply in this time frame. Month of September is a pretty bearish time frame for prices. We usually have a bottom here in October, and sometimes even as late as December. But sometime here in this fall, those are talk about our harvest lows. But you can see all of these patterns have a sharp down move during late August, early September. You see the same pattern here in April. Maybe not so much in the last 5 years, but this pattern here from early April into May. Here we had mid-April into early May and into June, in fact. But this is a bearish seasonal time frame. And why? Well, we get the crop planted and we get into the fields in early April and we take some weather premium out. What it's telling us here is we usually have a little premium built in to get this crop in the ground. Once the crop's in the ground, it seems like we take this premium out unless we have a reason to rally. And here, the last 5 years, yeah, we've had a couple years where we've had reasons to rally in the month of June. Things got hot and dry, but we get past this 4th of July time frame down here in the 5-year pattern, down after the 4th of July, the 15-year down, the 30-year down. All these had downs in July, had a little bit of an uptick in August, and then that down pattern in October. So what can we learn from this? How can we effectively use this as a marketing tool? Well, if we subscribe to the theory that premium is put in the market while we're planting historically, and it's removed by the time we get to the end of the growing season. Notice how we're here in this price level in all three of these categories, 5, 15, and 30. And by harvest, all three of these categories are down in this lower percentile. We want to use that to our advantage. And the easiest thing we can tell clients to do is when you get your planters rolling into the fields while you're in the planter on the tractor, this is the time you make sales. This is the time you buy puts and get yourself protected. When you get your combines out and you're in the combine starting to do your early stages of harvest, that's when we put the lows in, and that's when you take them off. So I don't know, it can get much simpler than that. When you get out in the field to start planting in maybe early April, put your puts on. Early October, get the combine out of the shed, you take them off. So very, very simple marketing program. Now here we're going to have, you can make an argument, our highs were actually made in July, and that is true in the last 5 years. Our seasonal pattern has shifted a little bit, but in all these years, we've had opportunities in July or in August where the market has rallied. I would suggest that if you do some hedge protection here in early April, maybe some puts, that if we do have rallies in July or August and September, you use those rallies as opportunities to lift your price levels. If you, for example, buy $3.80 corn puts this spring in April, you get a chance to move these up higher by July, maybe $4.20. You spend a little premium money and do that, lock in a better price level. Same thing here in July or August. Maybe you only buy half your crop protection here in April. Maybe you buy the other half here on some rallies in July or August. That's another strategy, but this is the pattern that you need to be focused on. Let's look at soybeans here. A little bit different pattern. Now we plant in the United States later than what we do in the corn. Our premium is usually in that planting time frame, which in the last 30 years it's come here in the month of May, better than April. By mid-May, the last 5 years we've taken some of that premium away, but in the last 15 years we've made a highs here in June. So in this May, June time frame is when we make our highs for the soybean market usually. Here in the 5-year and the 15-year patterns, 4th of July has seen a tendency to put a top in. We have some rallies similar to the corn. We get into this late August time frame, we see a little rally, but look what happens by October. We're sharply lower, and these three patterns match up very nicely, the 5, the 15-year, and the 30 historical year pattern. All into early October, we put our lows in. So again, you're probably going to plant a little bit later, sometime in this May time frame. That's a great time to get your puts in place. Use rallies during the growing season in July, excuse me, into August and September to raise protection levels. And by early October, you're out of your options, or you're covering your hedges when you're starting to combine. So basically, in a nutshell, that's it. That's how simple it is. When you're planting, you put your puts on, make some sales. When you're combining, you take them off. That's it. That's all there is to it. We can help you out with this through our brokerage service, so we'd be glad to set up an account for you today. That way we get it set up and you go head to the fields. You're ready to go this spring with your hedging program. We do offer a full service marketing program. We'll help you with cash sales and timing of buying these options. If you want a little bit more assistance in making sales, we'd love to work with you. Have a great night, everybody. We hope to hear from you soon. Contact any of our offices listed there on your screen for more information. They can all be of service to you. Have a good night. We'll talk to you again. This has been Brian Hoops for Midwest Market Solutions.